you feeling a bit rubbish, like, ugh, I don't feel so good, maybe a bit crap. You're like, ugh, right, all these things are going against me. I don't feel good. I don't like myself. I don't feel confident. Well, I've certainly been there as well. And today I'm going to talk about your focus and confidence and some guidance around that. And I've got an extra special point for you right at the end as well, if you stay around for that. Just before we dive in, I want to mention that if you want a podcast, particularly on men's mental health, men's growth, then check out my brand new podcast, the Men's Mental Health and Growth Podcast, linked in the show notes below. I've been in so many areas, like in my life, personally and professionally, lack confidence and not felt good about myself, like in my work, in my relationships, all kinds of relationships, not necessarily intimate relationships, but with friends and family. And yeah, like I wouldn't feel good, or even about my body sometimes when I was younger, and I'd be like realizing that I was focusing on the wrong things. Our brain will answer the questions we ask it. And often I found for me personally, and what I learned about talking to a lot of other people and coaching other people, we're asking ourselves the wrong questions. So what's wrong with me? What kind of answer are you going to get? All the things that are wrong with you. Why am I such a failure? What answers are you going to come up with? All the reasons why you're failing. Why does nobody want me? Of course, that's going to give you nothing but negative answers. When we start realizing our focus is off and then we start changing that focus, that's when real impact starts to happen, I certainly found. There's a great phrase, I think it's a Tony Robbins one, where focus goes, energy flows. So want negative energy, focus on the negative questions, the negative focuses. Want positive energy, focus on the great questions, the empowering things, right? And we're going to go into some practical, very simple tips you can do for this today. I like to keep things simple as always, to really get you. But just think about it for yourself. Like maybe there's an area where you're lacking confidence, your lack of self-love, lack of self-esteem. How is it helping you when you're just like, all right, what's wrong with me? Why am I such a failure? And it's probably unconscious to you. A lot of the times, it certainly was for me. It's just like, oh, I am asking, maybe listening to this, you're like, I am actually asking myself rubbish questions, or because like if we don't train our brain and condition ourselves regularly, it can default to that negativity because we got a survival brain at the end of the day. Well, there's a couple of things. We've got a survival brain that's like, what's going to go wrong? I've got to keep alive, even though there's not usually any real threats. And then the other part to it is that we're actually conditioned with a lot of negativity, like the media, for example. There's a lot of negative things they focus on, right? So let's go through a few points now. Okay, so number one, journal some empowering questions every day. Like, what's amazing about me? What have I achieved? What can I be excited about? Because when you start asking yourself those kind of questions, the brain can only answer the questions it's asked. And those are only going to end up with empowering questions. What's amazing about me? Well, it's not going to answer that you're a useless layabout, is it? Right? If you keep asking that question, it's going to be like, well, I did achieve this and I achieved that. I achieved that. And then, oh, okay. And this is going right. So write down, as you write, you invite some empowering questions in your journal every day or a bit of paper, right? The second one, feel like the good things that have happened to you. Make time to schedule it. Now, you ideally want to be at least a neutral state because it's going to be hard to feel good things if you're in a really bad place. So feel at least like sort of like neutral, and then start proactively empowering those beliefs and those thoughts into yourself, like every single day. Start feeling it like something that went amazing for you, either personally or professionally, and then celebrate it. Like pat yourself on the back. I make time to do this every day as well. I think about when I've had a good personal life, or I've achieved something and felt really proud about all the work I put in, and then I'll like really anchor it into my body. And then the third one, ask yourself what you want. Like, you can write this down as well, but asking yourself, I do this every day, ask yourself what you want keeps you away from the what you don't want. And when you say, what do you want? Don't say, well, I don't want to be in this job, I don't want to be in this relationship, I don't want to be this weight anymore. That's saying, what you don't want. That's not answering the question. Ask yourself what you want. So like if it was a job, it'd be like, well, I want to have a job where I've got real meaning. I'm excited to be there. I'm offering a lot. Or it's a business. It might be the same thing, or same things your experience. Relationship might be, well, I want to like experience relationships in my life where I really connect with people on a deep level and we feel really good about connecting with each other. Or maybe like the weight one is like, well, I want to have high energy. I want to like look like this. I want to be this way. Fantastic. That's what you want. So keep asking yourself that, because that's really going to direct your focus. And of course, the follow-up question to that is what you're going to do about it, because you can think about these things, but then ask yourself that question, what am I going to do? And make that thing you're going to do a repeatable thing, because doing something once is not going to be very powerful, but make it repeatable and make it simple and easy to do. So like, even if it's like going to the gym for like 20 minutes a day, as opposed to like, I'm going to go to the gym for 2 hours every single day, when that's not realistic for you, right? So make it simple and repeatable. Okay, now I've got an extra point for you again, but just before I go on to that, I want to mention that if you want a particular podcast on men's mental health and growth, then check out my brand new podcast, the Men's Mental Health and Growth Podcast, links in the show notes below. My extra point for you is, in the day, it can be hard, negative things come in, right? Just things knock you off guard. So what I like to do is write down on what I've written on my phone is like a refocus reminder. Now, a refocus reminder, I actually allow myself to feel negative feelings so they can process through my body. But then what I'll do is I'll ask myself, what do I want and what I'm going to do about it? And then I might ask myself an empowering question, because that allows me to refocus my direction and way of thinking when tough things come up. So have something proactive that we talked about earlier, but also something in the moment when things get a little bit hard, maybe a reminder on your phone. Make it super simple, because again, if you make it complex and you're in a real tough situation, then it can be really hard to perform, right? So that's my extra point for you then as well. And I just want to be really clear that if it's something really, really harsh, that's like, maybe it's a big breakup, it's you've lost someone, you've lost a situation, you're going to need time to actually process it. I'm talking about maybe someone said something to you that annoyed you, someone cut you up in traffic, those kind of things, about refocusing, because there are tougher things that I've certainly experienced that you do need to feel grief. And grief isn't just about losing someone, it's about losing situations, relationships, situations. So I'm not saying dismiss those things, right? I'm just talking about in the moment when things knock you off guard, that aren't maybe as intense as those things, just allowing yourself to refocus. And if things keep coming up again and again, find some time each week to really hone in and listen to it. So that's what I got for you today. You're improving other people's lives by being the best you. I appreciate you for being here. And remember, you are in control of your own self-esteem and confidence.